Good evening and welcome to round 6, I believe it is, of SLR's Tier 1 No Assist tier. I am Kebab and with me on the mic is Joel today for commentary. We're looking forward to another exciting Tier 1 race. It's been absolutely ridiculous so far this season with how tight this tier has been, but the number of drivers missing today. Only 16 people have bothered to show up. Full wet race as well, Chief says. So this is going to be extremely exciting.
I don't know if he's having us on there.
He might be.
Race in the desert.
He might be. He might be. But
You
stranger
never
things
know.
have happened than rain in the desert. But yeah, welcome, Joel. It's good to have you back with me again today.
Yeah, pleased to be back. And yeah, I mean, last time when I was here at Austria, it was a very action-packed race. So I'm hoping for more of the same here today.
Yes, I mean, I did miss a week, but we've got the standings up on screen at the moment there. So, Makenda is currently winning the championship by 6 points only over Danico. Justin and Daisy are still well within a shout as well for that Drivers' Championship, but Wow, Copy, Icewind, Hoodin, Pemi and Yari all lagging quite far behind. Need a win or two under their belt, each of those, in order to get dragged into the championship fight. But four-way fight at the moment, and few people missing, as it might be, but those four are all here, I believe. Daisy is here? Yeah, so still hotting up for the championship at the top there, for the Drivers' Championship, for sure. Constructors' Championship as well. Still all to fight for, with 3 or 4 teams vying for that one as well.
You're going to have to guide me around this new circuit first off in quali, because I haven't seen it yet.
Well, it's I'm not sure I've seen much of it, even though I've done a few races of it as well. But let's go live and get into the action, shall we? So see what's going on. So have we got anybody on a lap at the moment? Looks like we've got.
Wow, it's just started. But
Wow,
he's gone
that's
past the changed bit already. Icewind.
Icewind out there already. Struggling so far this game. Everybody obviously on softs with the new rule changes. Let's have a look then on board with Icewind and see how things are going for him. So, down into the first hairpin. This is where Max overtook Lewis Hamilton IRL to win the championship. Now, one of the first of 2 very long straights in at the chicane, which has not changed in the slightest. It's still just as horrible as it was before. But here he comes then, braking just before or on the 100 metre board there. Trail braking a lot, get the car over to the left hand side as much as possible for the open up the right hander. Well done there for Icewind, very well done. As it comes down the next of 2 DRS straights. And coming into the first big major change of the track, which is this left hander here, which has totally changed. No chicane here anymore. Big left hander. We can carry a lot of speed through there. You want to be on the power early as well. Back into the right hand, 3 right handers have not changed either. Straighten it up for the final one, and this is all changed here as well. No longer is it a braking point at all. It's just all about feathering the throttle, carrying this flat all the way through this right hander here, and then final corner, which hasn't changed much either, but it is slightly changed. Oh, big snap there. Well caught. Well caught indeed, as Icewind gets to 23.8. Not a bad time as things stand. 23.3 from Danny and Makenda as well in there, as we get some time starting to flow in.
Yeah, looks like an exciting track to drive now. A lot more overtaking opportunities. And some nice flowing corners. Reminds me kind of Suzuka in that middle sector with the flow. Sort of through the S's almost. Jarry up to P3.
Yeah.
And yeah,
23.5. You'd expect him to be up there with the 23.4s, 23.3s of Makenda and Danny, though. So there's probably more to come, as Rainbow is missing his pit entry there by quite a margin, but manages to get it turned in the end. Daisy currently invalidated his lap as well, so you can see that a lot of that here as well. Track limits aren't kind, and that is a different pit entry there, Daisy. You don't want that one. That's the old start finish straight. Yeah, it looks like he's invalidated at the moment. He's trying to let people through, or I don't know whether he's just trying to regain some ERS as well. Maybe go for a second run on these tyres. Depends on how much fuel he's got. Where is Meepo? I think Meepo there is P16. He has maybe changed his name slightly to Jeepo. Sure if that's anything to do with his win in Tier 2 yesterday. But he has managed to keep things together. It looks like a Daisy is going for another run, so here we go. Gets a good exit out of the final corner. Slow corner though, so he's going to want to improve on that. Turn 1 is exactly the same as it was before, using all of the track there as a Daisy, getting very close to the wall on the inside there. Turns 1 and 2 exactly the same. He's taking those pretty much flat. Little lift there into the hairpin now, where you've got to brake just before the 50-meter board. Take a late apex, and he gets that one nicely done. There's a purple sector 1 there from a Daisy, so this could be challenging for the top. Very much so.
Quite close between the top 2 at the moment, and then a bit of a gap further down the field into the hairpin, and which turns into the chicane. See the hotel in the background, and in case you forgot where you are, the Marina Circuit banner over your head.
Yeah, can't miss that one, can you? Let's see how he manages to tackle this new hairpin then. So again, using all of the track.
Sector.
Another purple, yes. This is looking rapid from a Daisy, and he invalidates on the exit there. Very slightly done, but done nonetheless. That is unfortunate. That's the second one he's invalidated as well. So
crashed.
So Luca has crashed as well on track.
Typical Luca.
Yeah, and that is on track. It looked like it was out of turn 2. So went flat through turn 2 and just lost it. Went flying off track. There are a number of
yeah, it is easy to do that.
There's a number of tricky areas at this track, to be honest.
With the G-force going through as well.
Yeah, a number of tricky areas. That last sector, especially, it used to be very nasty. That sector, to be honest, it was very stop-start, very hard to get a flow through there as you come through turns 10, 11, and 12, into 13, 14, and 15, and 16, and as we follow on board with Rainbow as he comes through that 16th corner. Is he going to set a time now? Nope, he's just starting his lap by the looks of things, but not using any ERS.
Rainbow is very fast, not the most consistent driver, but when he gets it together, especially in qualifying, he can be challenging right at the top.
Not using any ERS in the first sector there, I wonder. Maybe he's just waiting to turn it on, as he has now turned it on. So maybe he feels as though he doesn't gain anything by using the ERS in the first 2 corners. Chooses instead to save that for the next sector. Yeah, that's an interesting tactic. Let's see if that pays off for him as he comes down into the chicane in sector 2. Bit wiggly on the exit there. Very wiggly on the exit. He's gone sideways and lost a lot of his car. As you can see there, he's just stranded on track. Debris everywhere. Halo saved his life in that one, I'm sure. That would be a red flag IRL, but thankfully we don't have those.
He's really annoyed by that.
Can you imagine red flags in a Codemasters game? Really? I mean, 90% of the time they wouldn't restart, would it? Because of a bug of some kind or another.
There'd be like 10 grid starts every race.
Yeah. Would be a bit silly, but Fox on board then with him as he comes round that hairpin once more.
This is a difficult section, but yeah, made easier by, well, the corners seem to have been smoothed out, so they're not such a sharp turn. And this one too, you can almost hold that flat.
You pretty much can if you've got the right tyres. Yeah, you can. The final corner is pretty much the same, but not bad from Fox there. 24.3, but a second off the pace. His early season pace seems to have deserted him, Fox, and it's all gone a bit wry at this stage. For him, he struggled for results.
It looks like Jerry's on the lap as well, looking to bridge that 2/10 gap to get up with the top 2 in the front row. Can't see his delta just yet, but we'll see as he comes down into the next hairpin.
Purple sector.
4/10.
Yeah, 4.5 tenths in fact. So that looking good for a 22 if he gets maybe another 10th in the final sector. Will we see any 22s? We'll imagine so with these times already looking so good. For that, Chief says back-to-back wins for Meepo maybe. He's hitting P9 on qualifying at the moment. If things go his way, maybe challenge it. Top
Oh.
big wiggle there from Yori, but he catches it and gets pole with a 23
Oh,
flat.
not quite into the 22s, but he's still 2/10 ahead, which we'll be happy with.
Fuck, I'm sure that maybe he could have got a 22.9 if he hadn't have got that big slapper on that final corner. Maybe cost him that 1/10. I mean, that looked like a big one to be fair, but he caught it well, very well. We'll see it at Daisy as well as Danico's currently on a lap. Nope. 22 seconds up on his time at the moment. But wow, he's managed to put it at P3 with a 23.385, which is not bad at all from him. Justin that racer struggling here. P8. That's not going to do his championship any good starting there, but maybe he will get something from the race anyway. Copy, who's had some net issues, is actually with us. In P7 at the moment. Icewind P5, great lap from him so far as well. Unusual to see him all the way up there, but maybe there are a few people who are still to put in a good lap. Daisy might be one of those.
Yeah, Danny coming through to start his final sector of the lap, and he's set a purple sector 2, so he might be able to match Jarry here or go one better even. He comes through the same technical section under the hotel.
Oh, and he's lost it.
That one. Yeah.
And that's it. You've got to be very brave and committed through that sector. It is all about feathering the throttle. No braking allowed, really. You've got to just lift and coast through those corners. But there are two off-camber left-handers are very, very difficult to deal with. If you get on the power just a fraction of a second too early, that's what happens. Back end just loops around on you, and it's goodbye lap. So, last chance saloon for Danny is going to be the final lap. McKenda already currently sitting nicely in Prix in P2, but got to feel as though some of these guys behind might be able to improve on the 23.3 that they've already done. There's got a flurry of drivers in the pits at the moment, but all looking to get out at the right time to get the perfect track conditions.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit of a gap to pole from Jarry, 2/10, but behind that is pretty close between second, third and fourth. And then Icewind, Loff, Copy, Justin, Meppo and Speedy are all within a second of that. So might be some bunching up to do on the timings as we come into the final laps of people's runs.
Yeah, the only person on track at the moment by the looks of things is the Alfa Romeo of Jeppo, otherwise known as Meepo, the one and only, who won in Tier 2 yesterday. I wonder if he can improve much on his time here now. So, got some movement there that I missed as well. Somebody... Hey, Daisy put it into P5 with a 23.598. So, some improvement to come from him as well, probably. But he's out on track at the moment. I'm not sure if he's going to have quite enough time to get back around, back in and back out again. But maybe just if he's quick on his in and out laps.
McKenda's on a pretty early out lap, already coming to the end of it nearly, so I'm not sure whether he's fuel to do 2 runs, but we'll find out. It doesn't look like it because there's fuel icons flashing. So this will be his final shot, and he wants to get it done early without the traffic, so we'll keep on board with him and see how he does as he comes through turn 1, pursuing pole, which is a 23.092 at the moment. Holding it flat through turn 2 and 3. And that's well guided through there. It can be easy to lose the rear end if you're too aggressive with your steering input. Onto the back straight again. Open DRS as quick as possible. And coming up to the second sector split. Nope, he's already gone past that ages ago.
Yeah, I've not seen his split time yet, as it stands.
Right, it's
No,
coming up to the third one here. Yeah.
No, that's the second one.
Oh, the second split, but for the start of the third. Anyway, he's 1/10 up.
We'll get there in the end.
And he's going to have to double his advantage if he wants to challenge for pole here in the final section. There is a lot of time to be gained, but there's also a lot of time to be lost if you get it slightly wrong. Because your line has to carry through all of these corners. Looks like you got it pretty well, apart from a bit of oversteer on the exit. Had to correct that. That will lose him at least a tenth, I'd say, into the final corner, over the line, bit of wheel spin, and in the end he doesn't improve. So yeah, it cost him all that time, I think, that little wheel spin in the final sector. I don't think he's going again, is he? Oh, he might be. He's still got his ERS on.
Well, I'm not sure if he's going to have enough ERS for the entire lap. Maybe he'll have to juggle that a little bit.
Backs off.
But it looks like Fox is currently on a lap as well. As Yari coming out once more and Danny coming out once more as well for their laps. Icewind out there. And looks like he's on a lap at the moment as well.
Yeah.
Fox further along maybe. Nope, it is Icewind who's furthest along at the moment, coming into the third sector now. Did not see if he was up or down on his time as we jump around too much. Yeah, he is up by half a tenth, but like you said before, a lot of time to be found in this third sector, the very technical third sector. Ooh, that was very, very close to being invalidated, going over the white lines on the exit to turn 14, I think that was, or 15. Can't tell, but there he goes. P5 in the end, so he does improve marginally. 1.181 tenths improvement there from Icewind to put himself up to P5. Yari currently on a hot lap. Oh, Danny is out as well. Danny has crashed on track as well by the looks of things. Or he's retired on track. I'm not sure what's gone on there. Where is he? Not a clue. Maybe he was in the pits after all, but let's have a look and follow on board then with Justin. And McKenna retires as well, also in the pits by the looks of things. Justin in the Red Bull at the moment, then down into the third sector. As Wow comes across the line, but it's invalidated his lap, so that's not going to happen. A Daisy coming across the final corner, but it doesn't look like he... No, he's just starting another lap, so Icewind at a Daisy...
Yeah, I think the same with Justin as well. He's going through that in 8th gear, so...
I can't see the timing line boards to see how long we've got of qualifying. Never have. So Damien says in chat, Yari is a beast. We've had some mega fast people over the years in SLR, but Yari might be the fastest we've ever had. High praise there. Follow on board here with Justin, who's still going around very quickly. A Daisy as well. Just ahead. Wow also still has an opportunity for a lap as well. Yari didn't get his in time by the looks of things.
Yeah, and purple sector 2 for Wow as he comes through to start the final part of the lap, which we've seen multiple times this evening already. Can he do the best out of anyone? I didn't see a split, but he's going to have a good sector here to be in a chance with pole. Oh my word, did you see that?
I certainly did, yeah. I certainly did. I've not got a clue. That was, it was either Maple or a Daisy, and I hope it wasn't a Daisy, because a Daisy may well be on a lap as well, just behind. So
not enough. Just under a tenth improvement, but goes up to P2 though.
Yeah, a Daisy following him shortly behind and doesn't improve either. So, but improved to 10th. A tenth and a half, gets him, but it doesn't change his position at all.
Copy across the line. Yeah, copy doesn't improve either. So we've got Loff and Justin, who's coming across the line now. 2 tenths up for Justin, nearly 3 in fact. Can he get himself up into the top 5?
No.
P8 for him.
Oh, there's an Alpine
in
the background.
The line
crashing.
Is Loff.
Tanari passed that line there as well. I think he maybe improved to get himself up to P10, but Loff doesn't improve. So 7 hundredths up.
That's it.
But that's it. That's it for qualifying at the moment. So Yari takes a well-deserved P1. Yari is a very Finnish name, but I'm afraid he's Dutch, I think.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, another masterclass from him in qualifying. P1. He might run away with this one as well, but wow. With an absolutely fantastic result in qualifying for him, P2. McKenna rounds out the top 3 with P3 there. It's his squad's still quite tight, but Yari seems to have everybody licked here. A couple of tenths faster than everybody. And a Daisy, maybe not as fast as he would like. Icewind from nowhere has managed to get himself up there in amongst the very, very quickest. So absolute brilliant stuff from Icewind.
good qualifying for Ferrari in the end, considering the constructors' standings and how they're
Certainly
doing.
is.
So they've got a good opportunity to get some decent points here.
Certainly do, but this race is a tricky one. It is very hard to stay on track. There are several spins in other tiers. There may be a safety car as well. It is a high chance of a safety car here if there is a crash, and there are a fair few walls to crash into to get that caused. But yeah, let's have a look and see what happens then. So, looks like we're going to have dry start to the race. It does look fairly cloudy though, so is there a chance of rain in the end after all? Highly doubted in the desert, but you never know. Stranger things have happened. So, any predictions for eventual winner? I mean, Yari looks hard to beat, but Yari has been struggling quite a lot the last few weeks with connection issues. So if he DCs in the middle of the race again, then it's almost certain to mix things up a little bit for sure. Votes are in for how many DNFs there'll be. 50% of people think there are going to be 1 to 2 DNFs, 27% 3 to 4. Nobody says 0. 16% say 0, and 5% say 5 or more DNF. So people are expecting it to be a relatively clean race. Who will win the race is the next one, kind of thing. I know who my vote's in there for. We'll see how that one pans out in the formation lap. But hardest lap of the race is on. Formation lap, and we are ready to go. I don't know if you want to take the start, or do you want me to do the start? It's entirely...
Yeah, I can take it. We'll find out if it's good enough after, I guess.
Certainly will. Ocean Chief says Loff for the win.
That's interesting. Only 2 on the medium, Loff and Luca.
Yeah, that's an interesting strategy. So those guys are going to be fairly rapid in the early stint. Maybe get some overtakes done in the early stages. But at the moment, we have 50% votes for Yari to win, 33% vote for Makenda, 17% for someone else.
Yeah,
which I
whoever
imagine
put the poll up has forgotten to put WoW on there. So
yeah,
that's a demotion for them.
I mean, demotion might not be enough. We might have to get the gallows out.
I don't know who put the poll up, but they're really silly because they forgot WoW.
I voted for someone else, says Ocean Chief, but I don't see him on track. Well, yeah, some interesting votes coming in, but a lot of people are considering that Yari is going to be the one to win it. If he's sorted out his connection issue, I am almost sure he will do that. But he is up against stiff competition. Wow, McKenna, Danny Icewind and the Daisy are all quick enough to challenge him. And Loff, with this alternate strategy, could also be an interesting one. Luca, as well, has had some rapid races. But we have the drivers lining up on the grid as Yari gets disqualified. That is for crossing his pit box. Yeah.
So he's going to be set back a metre or 2. Which
Certainly
might give WoW an advantage. Yeah, I'm surprised how many are starting on the hards, to be honest. I thought it'd be a 50-50 split almost.
Me too, but I'll let you take the start away.
Well, here we are with the lights then. 4 and 5 now. And they're out, and Jari doesn't get the best of starts, but neither does WoW, so he's safe for now. Up behind those, Makenda, who might get past WoW into turn 1. Looking around the outside, has to give that up. Further down the field, we've got Danico, Icewind, and Adesi fighting it out for P5. And, yeah, further down the field, Pemi and Speedy. Side by side they were, coming into the hairpin. There's a few side-by-sides, and Copy going around the outside of Medicars there, but not getting the drive on the exit. He's going to have the slipstream, though, as he comes onto the main straight. Similarly, Adesi getting back past Loff, who he lost the position to on turn 1. And there's Justin, that racer, looking on as Loff is side-by-side with him now, as he's on the mediums, and they come back onto the back straight. They're going to go side-by-side through this corner. There's also the Alpine of Copy looking behind them, and Justin gets that move done for now. But remember this new layout, as the drivers come through this corner for the first time in the race on this circuit layout, the overtaking is probably going to be a lot easier with DRS into there, because it lasts longer, and you're not so scared to send it up the inside when the corner doesn't close up so quickly on you. Rainbow and Pemi fighting it out into sector 3. This could be an interesting one, as Pemi is done there by Speedy as well, who's now looking to take advantage of the poor line that Pemi got out that corner, and he does indeed. Meppo up past Janice as well, and that's the end of the first lap, but there's plenty of more action.
I mean, what a first lap that was. You've done that proud there. Luca, massive gains for Luca there. It goes up to P10 from the back of the grid. And a couple of people who just got like no major incidents there. Pemi is in the pits to change his front wing. Maybe he got some damage from that amongst the carnage there, but nothing major. Luca gets past Copy into the first hairpin there as well. So the action continues, and Luca continues to make his way through the field, already up into high point scoring positions.
Yep, Icewind right on the back of Danny, 1 car away from his teammate, and the Ferraris have held position nicely at the start, despite all the carnage that was going on around them. But a relatively clean start, apart from that incident with Pemi, and already Rainbow, Fox and Speedy have all got penalties. It is quite a difficult track to stay in the lines, as we saw with a couple of invalidations in qualifying, but lap 2, and you've already got 3 warnings, you need to watch out that you don't get disqualified at this rate.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of that I think is probably down to just having to take a wide line.
Janice and Tunari have had an incident, it looks like. They're both around, and they've been dropped to the back of the field.
Yeah, Yanis missing his entire front wing as well.
Yeah.
He'll need a pit to repair that. Looks like Tunari has got out with that scot-free. No damage by the looks of it to his wing. Maybe that was Yanis getting his braking point all wrong, maybe, by the looks of things. Punting in at the back of Tunari. And that could be diffuser damage to Tunari as well, which causes absolute mayhem with your handling. But as it stands at the moment, Yori has checked out. He is 1.23 seconds away from WoW in P2. And then there's a train from WoW all the way down to Fox.
And now WoW is going to be vulnerable on this double straight DRS detection zone, where he needs to make sure that he can defend their position, as McKenna turns his DRS off because he doesn't want to make the move here. That's smart play from him, because he knows he might be re-overtaken on the next straight. And yeah, WoW still doesn't have DRS, but I'm sure McKenna's going to be pushing here to try and get past him, as it looks like it's going to be an easy move. And it is, with this new layout as well, making it easy to slip up the inside without any bother whatsoever. So Ferrari up into P2 as Jerry goes wide now, and he gets a penalty. You saw that on the exit, similar to what Desi just did, as Luca is off. He's ghosted. He's managed to keep it on the track though. Doesn't look like he has any damage. But yes, that's huge. Jerry going wide there has got a penalty already, and he's back in the DRS zone of McKenda now, and WoW close behind, so he might be vulnerable on this next lap.
Certainly, big mistake there from Yori. Massive, massive thing. That penalty means that now he's got to kind of create another gap and get a 3-second gap there. That might be a tall order against McKenda, WoW and Danny. These guys are going to keep it clean, and they're going to stay in this little formation, not fight too hard, knowing that Yari is the guy to beat, that they need to stay in there. Oh, Luca is out.
Crashed.
Oh, he's crashed in turn 2.
Same thing as he did in qualifying, and there's a full course yellow. Is it a full safety car, or is it?
It is. It's a safety car. You see the yellow thing pop up in the pit lane.
Oh, yes.
It is a full safety car, and we have time for a breather as Luca causes that safety car coming through turn 2. Will have just put his foot a little bit too hard on the pedal while jerking the wheel a little bit too violently for that corner, and then the back end steps out, and it's good night.
Yeah, well, it wouldn't have learned from qualifying, because it was he did the same thing, didn't he?
Certainly did. Yeah, I mean, on softs it's pretty easy to do that, so never mind on hards. Yori gets another penalty under the safety car. He gets a penalty, so that is 6 seconds
now.
I mean, that could.
It's still a long way to go, but I mean, 6 seconds in 4 laps, you really can't get another now, because we know McKenda, WoW especially, are very good at not having penalties. Copy is the best for that one, but he's all the way down in P13 at the moment.
Yeah, and what are people going to do here as well? Yori looks like he's going to pit. He's staying within the white lines. He is pitting. So Yori decides to pit. That is a very interesting strategy, because nobody else is doing it. Yori then comes into the pits and ruins his race by the looks of things. I can't see any reason why he would do that. He goes under the mediums.
Yeah, I don't
He'll
know.
have to pit again. He won't get the mediums till the end from here, will he? I doubt
No, I
it.
mean,
He's going to have to go back on the hards, but a free pit stop. Nonetheless, Rainbow goes for the same thing as well, getting onto the mediums also. But everybody else, wow, Copy, Danny, Icewind and a Daisy all stay out on the hards. Justin as well, already up to P6, Justin, and in the fight for the championship points, high-paying championship points already after a poor qualifying by his standards. But look at this now, we've got what looks like possibility here of 7-8 drivers vying for the win. We'll have to wait and see what happens on the restart. But yeah, gambling on a late safety car, AO Gamer says Yari is. It's very possible, but that safety car is going to mean softs, really. You can't really go... Does he want to go back onto the hards that he's just taken off at any stage? Yeah. I don't think so. So...
It's going to be interesting, because he's going to have to get past this traffic. And he's coming from behind to the leaders, which I wouldn't put it past him to catch them up. But by the time he does, he'll be on old tyres, and he'll have to build a 9-second gap. 6 seconds, sorry, at the moment.
It's a long way to go. As EagleGo says, he's trying to use his penalty under the safety car, and that's not happening either, because those are 3-second penalties, which you cannot serve. They're not stop-and-go penalties at all. So only the ones like the speeding in the pit lane and crashing into people under the safety car, things like that, can be served under... the safety car. I mean, even then you shouldn't be able to save those under the safety car either, because the time difference.
It's when you come in to serve a 5-second penalty and you speed and you get another one.
Yeah,
I've done that.
Oh, I think we've all done that. We've all done that for sure. So yeah, 3 seconds saves no matter what, as Damien is correct, he points out. But that means that Yari is going to have a very tough time winning this race. He's probably going to make his way through the crowd anyway with this fresh mediums on and get past some of these guys. But because he is rapid, even in this field. But it makes Makenda inherit the lead and the best chance of winning, which is great news because I voted for Makenda in who's going to win at the beginning. So... as far as I'm concerned, that is fantastic news. I'm not sure WoW has the race pace to keep Danny, Icewind and Daisy behind, and if he makes one mistake, all 4 of those guys behind him could be streaming past him in one set of corners. So he's got to be quick there. And Yanis is back in the pit again already, and still not on the back, so but he's probably going to catch up to the back of the field. We're probably going to be racing again after this lap, so Makenda will start to back up the pack, I'm sure, early on.
We've also got Loth in P7 here on the mediums that could get a good start and make his way up, potentially.
Yeah, but any gains he makes now, he's going to lose with forcing him into the undercut. But I suppose those tyres are going to last a fair bit longer than you would have expected them to. I get the feeling that the hard medium strat is going to be the better one, though. I mean, look at all these guys at the top here who are running P1 to P6, who are going to be on the quickest tyre in the later stages of the race. Meaning that
safety
even if
car in.
Expected that. Makenda starts to back up the pack. And if Lewis Hamilton was here, he'd be having panic attacks right now. Yeah, let's have a look and see what kind of restart Makenda can get, because he's going to get the jump on WoW. And how much of this going to help his teammate Icewind in P4? If he knows when Makenda going, he can maybe get the jump on the 2 cars in front as well. It looks like it's the final corner, the very last corner he's gone. And
traditional move.
Certainly hasn't got a very good jump on WoW, but looks like it's a nice clean restart, which is all you want, as Yari already making a move on Copy, going up the inside into turn 1, and there's the spin there from Speedy, and around he goes. Looks like he's tapped the wall there, but looks like his wing was
WoW has got past Makenda at the top. We missed that.
Certainly has, yeah. Missed that indeed. He's done it into the hairpin as well, and gets a very good exit out of that hairpin as on top. Danico going to be all over the back of Makenda. Makenda's all over the back of WoW. Going to go up the inside of WoW into the chicane. And it's all action as we restart.
Oh my word, down here is 3 wide and Fox has been spun off by the battle between Jari and
Meepo
Mepo,
is
and
off.
Mepo's off as now as well. So Jari up to P8, but he's caused a bit of carnage behind him in his wake. Danny past Wow into the new left-hander here at Abu Dhabi, and Wow right on the back of him still, but Danny goes a bit wide and keeps that position for the time being. Yeah, plenty of action on the restart, and Jari already up to P8. He's got a second to close up, but I imagine he'll do that by the end of the lap, knowing him.
Yeah, most likely, but lots of action to be had on the restart. These guys at the front are happy to be having this racing and swapping positions left, right and centre. Icewind just happy to leave them to it, really. It might be the war of attrition in terms of ERS that wins this one at the front.
On Loff. Oh my word, he's barged his way up the inside.
Oh, I mean, that didn't look very clean. It looked like he was going to go for it and then not go for it.
He didn't really want to, and then he had to in the end. So yeah, a bit of carnage that he's causing.
I may have got a major issue because my screen seems to have crashed entirely and frozen the game. Is your game still going?
Yep. I'll do radio style commentary then. BBC Radio 5 Live here. Jack Nicholas and Jolyon. Goes for the re-overtake, but I think he's a bit too far back to make any moves right now. So Wow is in third, Danny in second, and Makenda in P1, all very close, and Mepo has crashed and retired, and it is another full course yellows, a virtual safety car, and all the drivers have to slow down to 40% speed. Now, will the medium runners pit? Might be the perfect opportunity for the likes of Rainbow, Loff and Janice, who are the only ones on the mediums at the moment, to come in and pit. And the hard runners are staying out so far. A virtual safety car here just neutralises the field. Rainbow stays out. Loff stays out. And so does Janice. So no one pits under that.
Okay, so we are back with pictures. Apologies for that.
Oh, yeah, restart, sorry, the Desi's right on the, got caught, Wow, napping. He's come from P5, he's looking to threaten for the first podium position, and he barges him out of the way with no respect whatsoever, and gets that done very cleanly here. But Wow, right on the back of him. The slipstream will be powerful, but he's got a car ahead of him as the Alfa Romeo, and he's going to be able to defend well enough. Thought Wow was going to send it then, but good decision not to in the end, I would have said. But, well, Danny looks vulnerable now to a Desi with the DRS. He might make himself 3 positions in 2 laps at this rate, the Alfa Romeo driver, and it looks like he probably is going to. Up into P2, swoops around the outside, and that's Danny down to P3, but Adesi's making quick work of the cars ahead of him, like they're really slow, and they're obviously not.
Certainly did, didn't he? He managed to get a lot of luck there with how the DRS timings worked out. And yeah, Larson says, I guess Yari won't win it now. Yes, probably not. But yeah,
and
sorry.
Icewind passed by Justin as well.
Oh.
So he's down to P6 now. So Adesi and Icewind going up and down the order respectively. And Janice gets a penalty. But
So,
Makenda a 2-second lead already.
Yeah, just to recap, because we were missing pictures at the time kind of thing, and maybe we didn't catch all of your delightful radio commentary, but I may have lost some of that as well, as I accidentally signed out of my account. But we have lost Mepo and Yari. Yari retiring in the pits, and Mepo, I'm not sure what happened to him.
Yeah, he span out turn 2, similar to Luca, which caused a virtual safety car. And then Jarry coming together with Justin at the end of the second straight was pushed wide and got damaged and retired in the pit lane.
So lots of action happened while we were offline, but it looks as though things have been mixed up quite a bit. Yanis currently running in P9. Didn't expect to see that after he was back at the very back considering the original safety car. Rainbow, and he's actually making a move on Loff as well, so gets that done with DRS. Up into P8. Not bad showing from Yanis.
Yeah, on the mediums, the fresh ones that he used under the safety car, I think, aren't they? Yeah. He'll have to pit again, but so will everyone else. So he's in a good position here.
Not bad at all. Rainbow currently looking all over the back of Icewind, looking very racy. And Icewind struggling to keep up with these guys, maybe falling down the order step by step. But big wiggle there from Rainbow, but he keeps it on track and keeps the pressure on Icewind at the moment. But they've all got DRS, so it's going to be tricky to make any moves stick in that little train there. Let's have a look at the tyre situation as it stands. So currently top 6 all on hards. Rainbow and Yanis on fresh mediums. Loff on old mediums, and everybody else on old hards as well. So even though we've had a safety car and a VSC, very little strategy-wise to be had in terms of those. Those two, nobody opting for the call. But at the moment, McKenda has checked out. He's currently 2.2 seconds ahead of a Daisy. And those guys, the more they fight, the more McKenda loves that, to be honest. He wants them to fight as long as possible. As Justin and Wow going side by side now. Justin gets past Wow. Icewind gets past Wow as well. One bad corner for Wow, and he's down 2 positions, and he could lose a third here. He's really struggling as Wow. He tries to hold it around the inside as Rainbow looks to get it done as well, but Icewind up into P5, and now Icewind takes advantage of that mistake from Wow. It was a big mistake by the looks of things. Beautiful camera shots we've got there, I have to say.
Danny got back past Desi as well. Simple move on the straight.
Yeah, so good racing to be had in this top 6. All happening all of the time. Lots of overtakes, undertakes, re-overtakes. Non-stop action there by the looks of things. And it looks like we're still going to have a pretty tight fight for the last points playing positions as well, as Copy makes his way past Loff, who has gone into the pit. So he's the first of the medium runners to pit early. So going on the hards, and that'll get him to the end of the race now.
Wow, vulnerable to Rainbow here as well, who's actually going to send it up the inside before the straight. He's done it before the detection point. No, he hasn't. So Wow has the DRS, but of course Rainbow does too from the car ahead. So equal footing for these two as they come down, as Wow's getting a bit of slipstream from Icewind into the chicane. Who's going to break the latest? And it will be Rainbow who pushes him wide a bit. Oh, a bit of oversteer there for Wow. Gets a pretty poor exit in the end. And now we might lose another position to Janis this time on his fresh mediums.
Yep, Yanis looking very racy at the moment. He's going to have to go the long way around the wide.
He's gone deep.
Oh, is he going for the switchback?
Here. Or maybe. I think if Janis broke a little earlier, he could have got that pretty easily. But he wasn't to know that Wow would go deep.
Yeah, and the thing is as well, as the more pressure and fight he puts on here, he needs to get Wow out of the DRS range of the guy ahead to really make that move stick. Otherwise, he's just staying in the same train, not really making much progress. And could be vulnerable to Wow later on. But big train that we've got there from Danny down. Danny does seem to be catching a little bit at a time, but maybe, yeah, one bad corner, one good entry, one bad exit, and it's jumping up and down kind of thing. But 2.2 is the gap as it stands between him and McKenda. We'll keep an eye on that to see if that comes down any.
Yeah, Danny seems to be closing easier than Desi was, although it's small sample size. We're not even halfway in the race yet.
Certainly not, and so much has happened so far already. Not entirely sure what to do, but I am sticking with my original prediction, saying that McKenda is going to win it. He's looking rapid at the moment. Daisy as well is also looking very good. Bang for buck in P3 for a podium. Justin has done very well to get himself up into P4 as well. Are these guys sandbagging to try and get driver of the day? I wonder. I have to say, Yanis, though, up in P8 at the moment. If he keeps things tidy and stays up in that kind of position, then he might be my driver of the day. Simply because it's not a position that he would find himself in very often.
Yep, doing well. And settling down a bit here. And so it's still a train, but there's not that many opportunities remaining.
Certainly is a train, but it looks like a Daisy just hasn't got the pace to cope with Danny Coe at the moment. And Danny is creating a gap and may well drop a Daisy out of DRS altogether at some point soon. And if that happens, that makes a Daisy a sitting duck for Justin and Icewind as well. And then Rainbow behind them as well. But Rainbow has to pit still. And obviously when he pits, if he pits around the same time as all these guys in the hards, they're going to be on the quicker tyre compared to him. Loft gets the fastest lap with his hard tyres.
Yeah.
Not bad time as well. 27.2. That seems like a very punchy lap, to use Ocean Chief's favourite word of the week. And but yeah, he's got a lot of time to gain. And he's gone for the early pit as well, kind of thing. So he's gone for the medium hard strategy. And he's undercut everybody here. He now has to put in these laps. He has to do the fastest laps because he is currently on the fastest tyre out there, out of everybody on the grid. So
and he was at the back of this train as well. So if you can put in decent lap times, he might come out ahead of all of them. But bearing in mind they will be on the medium. But that's his challenge, just to build a gap to them almost, so he offsets the tyre delta.
And that's going to be a tall order, but maybe he can gain a position or two with the undercut solely by it being the undercut, because these guys are in a little train. But they are getting DRS, all of these guys, and following some of the fastest names in the business as well. So yeah, Meepo, bit of salt there in the chat from Meepo saying some of them have lost the touch to race wheel to wheel. So maybe he got contact with somebody that caused him to DNF. I mean, you should not be going side wheel to wheel in turns 1 and 2. I can tell anybody that for free. That's a very dangerous place to go wheel to wheel. You should really be just hanging back and waiting for the straight after turn 4. Turn 3, sorry, I should say. It's no longer turn 4.
Desi's still hanging on to Danny. And Danny closing to McKenna, but very slowly. Perhaps they could... If Desi gets a bit closer, they could work together for a few laps before the pit window to close up with DRS together. But yeah, 1.8 the gap already down to. From Danny it was like 2.4, 2.5 when he made the move. And Wow is going to get back past Rainbow as easy as you like.
He is, yeah, into the that wide hairpin at the back of the two straights. We've got the tight hairpin at the front and the wide hairpin at the back. Two very good spaces to make a move, but tricky to make a move in this little sector here, where it's all just about keeping the car nicely balanced. No sudden movements or it will bite your head off.
The top two pit at the same time. I would have thought that Danny might have done the opposite of McKenna, but he's decided to do the same. Everyone else in that train continues, so this will be a battle between McKenna and Danny now, with 12 laps remaining. They're going to be on fresh mediums, and it's going to be who gets through the traffic the quickest, but yeah, they're not going to be in traffic at the moment, are they? Janice with another time penalty. But yeah, the top 5 need to be pushing now, and Wow needs to really close up on the podium positions now if he wants to stay in the chance for a win.
I wonder if Justin or Icewind are going to take this as an opportunity to go for the move on the Daisy now that he doesn't have DRS to defend with. Justin very close to the back of a Daisy coming out of that second sector. 410 separates them. He is using DRS but not ERS. He's got 46% of that, but decides not to go for it. Just happy to play the formation game. Stay here. Maybe they're all just hoping for a decent overcut.
Yeah, and if you look, Loff is only 2.4 seconds behind Danny, so I think when these guys pit from P1 to 4, he's going to be ahead of at least a couple of them.
Yeah, he's almost certainly going to be ahead of Wow and Rainbow, I'm sure, when they pit, because Wow seems to have fallen off the back of that train a little bit. A couple of mistakes from him, and that's put him out of contention. But the top 3 pit, and we'll see now where they come out. Looks like there was a bit of shenanigans there going on in the pits as well. Wow, also pitting, but Weissman was right on the back of Justin in the pits there. No penalties as they come in. Copy goes up into P2, staying out and trying for the hard overcut, but I don't think that's going to work well. Let's see then where Loft comes out as he comes down the main straight as we speak. Let's see, it's going to be tight here. Some of these guys are going to come out that tunnel at the same time. Looks like he's going to be... Wow.
Yeah. Sorry, I thought... never mind, got mixed up. I thought Desi was past Danny, but he's not. I think Rainbow is in a good position here on his mediums still. If it's a safety car, he's in the best position, I'd say.
If there's a safety car, yeah, but if not, he's going to drop down to probably behind Wow now.
Yeah.
Just in front of Yanis, so he'd be dropped down to P9 overall.
And look at that from Danny, 1.3 seconds, set the fastest sector 2. And closing into the DRS and McKenna, and if Copy stays out long enough, which I don't think he will, he'd probably pit this lap, to be honest, unless he's gambling on a late safety car. But yeah, Danny definitely closing up.
Yep, it's going to be
Is he at risk from Justin now as he's lost touch to the DRS ahead?
It's going to be a tough fight when he gets there. They're both on relatively equal ERS, and yeah, DRS being the way it is on this track kind of thing, you've got to go with the overtake down into the wide hairpin. McKenna gets the fastest lap, closely followed by Danny Coe, who gets an even faster lap, and now 1/10 away from that magical DRS number of 1 second, putting the pressure on McKenna now for the win.
Yeah, definitely.
Man
That
on a
definitely
mission.
put pressure on you. If you're not looking at the gap, which these drivers sometimes do when they know they're under pressure, you see your fastest lap pop up and you see one for the guy behind you, and you know the game is on.
It certainly is game on. McKenna currently using a bit of ERS to try and keep him away from that DRS, and managing that ERS nicely. Danny Coe unable to respond at the moment. As Justin all over the back of Daisy. Daisy without DRS himself.
The corner, but he doesn't gain an advantage. In fact, he loses out to Icewind.
Loses two positions, yeah. So that's not ideal from a Daisy.
And Wow on Loft, easy.
Certainly is. He gets
Seems
that
so
into
easy to overtake into there now.
the second effort. Yeah, it's a lot easier to make that move kind of thing. But you've got to be able to get away from them pretty quickly in this next sector. Otherwise, it's pretty easy for them to stay with you and get you back the next lap.
Yeah.
Which is the issue that a lot of people are finding, is that, yeah, okay, you can get the overtake done, but then can I make a gap there? But it looks like Wow is already creating a gap to Loft and extending it as we go on. So those tyres, yeah, Wow with the mediums on with the fastest lap. McKenna, Danny Coe, Justin, looks like Wow's back in the groove now on these new tyres. Fresh rubber, and he seems to be back up to the pace. Maybe he needs to get that, get a shift on, catch up to a Daisy and start putting pressure. But it's a very, very tight race, this, isn't it? And McKenna,
yeah, in DRS now of Danny.
Yep, that's going to cause a lot more pressure for him. Danny has the opportunity now to just sit back, relax, and charge his battery for the next 8 laps. Doesn't need to make any moves, and then go hard for it when he's got full battery. Whereas McKenna is going to have to deploy in order to keep him behind as is. Icewind all over the back of Justin now as well. Icewind, though, very low on ERS, and Justin sitting on a tidy sum of 56%. So Icewind just needs to hold position here as well. It looks faster than him with just DRS, but just needs to hold his nerve and gather some ERS, as the cat I have is currently chomping on my feet. Ow. Ow.
In to the pits comes Copy, finally. Imagine it'll be softs from here. Can't see him going on to mediums, having waited so long. Rainbow, is he going to try and go to the end?
I don't think that's going to work out for him. I don't think those tyres are going to make it the end. He's got another 8 laps to do, and from what I gather, is those tyres last around 14 laps, so he's doing really well to be on 16 lap old hards as Copy pits. finally goes for the mediums and will come out in P12 by the looks of things.
Danny could have overtaken McKenna there, but decided not to, as he thinks he would have been re-overtaken on this next straight, which he's going to take advantage of now. Good exit. And you'd imagine McKenna won't fight this, because he knows he's got the pace, although he's defending it.
He's defending
hard.
the inside, yeah, and
he is
wheel
defending
to wheel
it,
they
but
go.
he can't do anything about that, although he's holding it very well, but slinging around the outside goes Danny, and when you get the momentum, it's quite difficult to keep them behind, but he'll know that he's got another chance coming up in less than 40 seconds.
See, that's it with that hairpin there where everybody's making their moves, the wide hairpin. If you've got the outside, you then have the inside for the double right-hander, well, a triple right-hander that comes up next, and you really want to be on the inside for that triple right-hander. You do not want to be going in there side by side with anybody, because you need to get that straight line braking. So if you get that wrong, it can cause big problems. But it looks like Danny has the measure of McKenna here and is getting away from him already. Is McKenna going to be able to hold on here and stay in DRS of Danny? Danny fighting for this win early, wants to get the move done and create a gap.
What's happened to Rainbow? Has he got a puncher or something? His gap was 4.7 seconds and he's now being overtaken by the two leaders who were feeding off him for DRS. And I think he does.
Oh, we've got a very exciting. It looks like he does, yeah. But I mean, at the moment, it's all about Danny and McKenna fighting side by side still. While they're overtaking Rainbow at that moment, that was very, very dicey situation. And it looks like Danny's come out ahead and in charge. But DRS still for McKenna as he comes down into that hairpin. He's looking to just hold on for the moment, McKenna, and maybe doesn't want to make the move. He's happy just staying behind and charging his battery at the moment. Rainbow, though, really is struggling. He can't hold on to the back of them. I cannot tell if he has a puncture.
He doesn't have a visible one. Something's gone wrong there, though. He's made at least a big mistake because he dropped almost 5 seconds in a lap there.
Honestly, he's struggling to hold on to that car, and he's coming into the pits. Justin, it goes into P3, Icewind into P4. And now they are fighting for the last podium place position, are Icewind, Daisy and Justin. And it's going to be a tough fight between all three of them as well. Wow is also back in the fight onto that one as well. But has a penalty, so that is going to cost him big by the looks of things. It won't cost him a position to Loff, who also has a penalty and is 5 seconds down the road. But at the moment, we have a feisty fight here for the top 6 positions. And the podium is still all up for grabs. But McKenna and Danny fighting for the win. Big gap down to Justin from them. But if they start getting a bit more aggressive with each other, I'm sure that gap will disappear. Exciting times.
Yeah, if I'm McKenna, I definitely want to try and overtake Danny. It's not going to happen on this lap, but I would definitely want to, because I'm just worried about him extending that gap in the first sector and eventually losing DRS. So if you get a chance, I'd take it if I were McKenna.
Honestly,
I'm not a tier 1 driver.
I mean, I was a tier 1 driver, but I wasn't a very good one, so don't take my advice with anything more than a pinch of salt either. But I would stay behind if I was McKenna. I would sit happy here, knowing that Danny can't get away.
Tenari is off.
Oh, Tenari is off.
And so is Fox. The same two that had a collision on the first lap, I believe.
Revengi? I'm not sure.
Come together again as Fox lets him past.
We're going to see some reports for sure, I think, come the end of this race. But for the moment, we're going to focus on the race itself. 1.5 that gap has come down to. Justin catching up with the top 2 at a rapid pace here. And Speedy retires as well. I'm not sure what happened to him there, but maybe he was just in the pits because he was so far off the pace and well behind the guys. Rainbow now on softs as well. Getting past Yanis into the turn 1 of all places. Not a usual place to make a move, but those soft tyres will be treating him well, I'm sure, but they won't last very long at all. He's got to get the best of them as it stands, and he's got McKenna copy up the road, who's got the better tyre at this stage, I would say. 3-lap old mediums, and Loff on the hards. They're going to be good till the end, no problem, but McKenna, again, DRS down this back straight, decides not to go for the move. He looks like he's just going to sit behind, charge his battery, and bide his time. But they are sitting on a very similar battery. Justin cannot seem to close that gap up. Icewind cannot seem to get Justin.
Yeah, I think McKenna also knows that if they go side by side and it comes into a battle for even 2 or 3 corners, that Justin is going to be right up the back of them, and there will be someone to worry about from behind for McKenna, so he may as well try and bide his time, as it visually looks like Justin is closing up, and when he gets in that DRS, they're not going to be able to get rid of him.
And Icewind really needs to time his move here as well. He needs to pass Justin, that racer, just before he gets DRS from McKenna, so that he gets DRS from McKenna the next lap. 3-second time penalty for a daisy means that he's now out of the running for the podium positions. And it's just between the top 4 now. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 2 battles here. One between Danny McKenna, one between Justin and Icewind. And Justin is desperately trying to get the DRS from McKenna in order to stave off Icewind. Icewind may just go for the move into the second hairpin. McKenna is very close to the back of Danico as well. And this finale of this race is really hotting up here. Who knows who's going to win? I've got my money on McKenna. I hope he wins. Anyway, Forza Ferrari all of the way. But this gap...
McKenna not close enough. Icewind probably was, but he's not interested either.
I think these guys are lifting and coasting a little bit just to stay behind and charge their battery. These guys know each other very well. Says Damien, they will know each other very well, and it looks like Danico is preparing himself mentally and battery-wise as well for this last lap push. Neither one of these guys is willing to use any of this battery. It's very hard to recover battery here, but not impossible. You do recover 5 or 6% a lap or so.
Yeah, I mean, if and look at Justin now in
He's
DRS
now in
range.
DRS range, yeah. So currently, any one of these 4 guys could win this at this rate, and all that needs to happen is one guy needs to take out the 3 in front of the other. It's his. Our gamer says Icewind needs to overtake Justin to make the championship more interesting. I mean, these guys, not a lot of love lost between them after last week's incident discussions. Fox retires, and that's 11 drivers left on the grid. That's a DNF. That's 5+. Anybody who went for 5+, only 5 people. I think 5% of people went for 5+ DNFs here. And it looks like anybody who's wins the war of attrition here is going to get points by the looks of things, because Yanis may just drop out of the points. He will as well with a 6-second penalty. He's going to drop out of the points. McKenna very close to the back of Danico now, though. 2 tenths.
And something I'm thinking of is that McKenna might be waiting for Icewind to get past Justin. They can go on the double attack and maybe force a 1-2 here, because Danny is going to be vulnerable with a DRS. With 2 raging Ferraris behind him, but Icewind doesn't really seem to have the pace to Justin, so how late do you actually leave it for McKenna?
I think McKenna, Icewind, might just be happy with P4, given his topsy-turvy pace, should we call it, so far this season. Sometimes he's up there with the top runners, and sometimes he is not. And he might just be happy with P4, a nice haul of points for Ferrari. He is very much a support role for McKenna this season, by the looks of things. But McKenna almost certainly wants this win. He needs this win for the championship. These guys are very tight in the championship. This could swing it back very slightly to Danico's favour. Who has the fastest lap, I wonder? It is Wow currently with a 25.9. I wonder if anybody is going to go for that.
And I think this is the lap where you have to go for it.
Certainly is.
Even if Danny re-overtakes you on the next lap, you still got the final one, if you couldn't defend it in the penultimate. But he is close enough, so if he wants to, he can. He's deploying RS, but not enough intent shown for him to get past this time, and Justin very close to hitting the rear wing.
This certainly was very...
Oh, he might get past here. He was barging his way through. He's taking advantage of these guys slowing each other down and playing the what supposedly is the strategy game. But Justin's just saying, if there's someone to overtake, I'm overtaking him, and I wouldn't put past Justin to win this if these two keep faffing around, so to speak.
Certainly won't, yeah.
Lap.
And now or never if you're going to make the move for McKenna. McKenna under heavy pressure there from Justin, weaving left and right to try and find a way past. But Justin has to be careful with this weaving. We did have some people talking about that, and with Icewind right behind you, he might not be happy with that weaving. Is Justin going to go for the move here? He doesn't look like he wants to do it into the DRS zone. He's going to do it on with DRS maybe, but McKenna already falling off the back of Danico quite a bit. Justin might be going for it here.
This now. You have to go for it now. You can't wait if you're in P2. And that's Icewind watching from behind. He's not wanting to get involved at the moment. He's hoping something might happen with Justin. Hopefully not against his teammate. But he's going to get this done easily. And Justin now... Oh, I say easily. I spoke a bit too soon. But he's got the outside line. Remember how important that is. But he goes a bit too deep. Although McKenna, look at that. And he tries to get the undercut. And he switched back here. Is he brave enough to go up the inside? Not on the penultimate lap. Icewind right behind him. But they both closing up on Danny yet again. This is a final lap. And there are 4 drivers that can still win the race. Immense pressure for all of them.
Unbelievable stuff that I'm witnessing here. Immense pressure for all of them. Icewind really just has to keep his cool and hope for something to happen. He can't really do anything otherwise. It's all on McKenna really. Justin's trying to force the issue where he shouldn't really be forcing the issue. He's trying to get past McKenna, get into P2, but by doing that, he's maybe costing himself the opportunity to get the win. He needs to wait for McKenna to pass Danico, and looks like McKenna's not going to be able to do that this lap. 7/10 the gap. Justin might try and force the issue regardless. With it being the last lap, he might try and send it down the inside into the chicane or into the hairpin. Let's see what happens as we've got this train of 4 cars all vying for the win. It is absolute bedlam here.
Yeah, but remember that there's 2 straights, and he's already closed 3/10, nearly 4, McKenna, on one of them. He needs to get a good exit here as Danny gets a poor run through the chicane, but he gets a good exit, but so does McKenna. It looks like he's a bit too far back. He's already losing time, but with the DRS, Justin is much close to McKenna, but they both have it, and there are going to be no moves on this straight unless someone tries something audacious. It's all about the final sector coming onto the final lap of round 6 in Abu Dhabi. Justin is the more likely to get past into P2 at the moment, you say. Is he got the guts to send a move in the last few corners? He looks close enough. It will take a moment of brilliance to have any position changes here. Icewind's dropped off. Danny looks like he's going to win as he rounds the final corner. Justin just needs a good exit, but it's not going to be close enough. And who would have thought at the end of those 5 laps, the order stays exactly the same?
Not me for sure. That is an anticlimactic end, but an end nonetheless. And Danico does fantastically to win the race and keep his title charge alive, because McKenna P2 there as well, and absolutely fantastic racing from them all. Heavy pressure from Justin, that racer, in the final stages there. Icewind with an absolute brilliant P4 as well. Great stuff from him. You've got to say, what an exciting finale that is in the end. Even though there wasn't any overtakes there, it was on tenterhooks. I think tenterhooks. I can't remember the phrase.
It's in hindsight, but you do have to question McKenna's strategy there. He had multiple opportunities before Justin caught up to overtake Danny, and when Justin did catch up, he was at risk of losing P2 himself. So
I'm honestly
I'm
not
too
sure
about that.
Yeah, I don't know about the strategy calls and things, but at the end of the day, Danny had the pace. By the looks of things, he was absolutely rapid today. I think Wow gets the fastest lap in the end and had a great race, but it was just a couple of... This is the level that we're at here with Tier 1. Wow had unbelievable pace today. The pace to keep up with these top 4 runners, but one mistake here, one mistake there, and suddenly you're out of DRS and out of the running altogether. And penalties played a big part as well today, costing people heavily. Rainbow though, P17 to P9, a very decent drive from him. Justin gets P3 from P8 as well. We'll have to talk about our driver of the day and who that might be. Honestly, I think Rainbow made the 2-stop strategy work to get points from P17. It's not a bad drive in the end.
So Danny sprays the champagne over his engineer.
What about you? What do you think for driver of the day as well? Because
I would say Danny, honestly.
Danny has done very well to get the win from P3 as well. P4, was it not?
I mean, the pressure he was put under and how he kept so cool, I think I'm not trying to sway you, but yes, that would be my vote.
Honestly,
Maybe I
Danny,
even show the results screen. Interesting.
I got the results screen, but maybe the game just doesn't like you. I don't know.
Probably.
But yeah, I can agree with Danny. He gets the win from a tough position, held on well with the best pace on track. Maybe if Yari had been racing, but well, saying that, Yari had 6 seconds of penalties before he retired anyway, so
Yeah.
that was a done deal, I guess. Interviews then. So people need to get into the interview channel. We've got Justin, that racer, who got our podium position in the end there. Oh, yeah, we'll bring him in there. So Justin, fantastic racing. Those last 5 laps looked very intense, but it all finished as it was. You were trying very hard, though, by the looks of things, to get past Mackinder. Talk us through those final 5 laps and how difficult that was.
Yeah, it was great fun. I ultimately had the superior pace in both of them, unfortunately, but DRS and ERS is very good around here, so it's a straight line speed. So really considering at DRS, I really couldn't do much, but it was good fun trying at least. But yeah.
Certainly was, and obviously poor qualifying from you today. Had you qualified higher, do you think that win was on the cards for you there? How hard is this league? That in that, like, is that making a big difference? Do you think?
Before I would have said no, but yes. But now, yes, definitely. I think maybe I could have won the race had I been up there, but unfortunately, I was 6/10 up on my final lap, or no, my second lap, and the game just alt-tabbed me at the final corner, and it stopped me from improving. So and it stopped me from like 2 seconds.
Oh,
So
that is
6/10
unfortunate.
would have put me P2.
Technical issues in the final corner. Very sad times. Very, very sad.
Yeah, but yeah, at least I'm happy to know that I had the pace, and it was fun getting another podium.
Yeah, not bad at all in the end, and you've got yourself some very good points towards the championship. You've been very consistent so far this year in the championship, but what do you think your chances are against those guys? If you need to get the wins in, really, don't you? So
I'm trying to get the wins, but it's not there, unfortunately. But championship-wise, I'm just here for fun. I'm missing 2 weeks in 2 weeks' time, so championship is not possible. But I'm just here to have a good time and try and harass those that want to win the championship.
2 missed races is definitely going to put a spanner in the works, but keep up these podium positions and you'll definitely do well in your aims of disrupting others, for sure.
Exactly.
But we'll let you go and improve it. Well, before you go, how do you feel about Canada, the next race?
No idea. I used to hate Canada, so it'll be interesting to see this game.
Hope Eversnacks isn't watching.
I hope he is. Terrible track. Terrible track. Anyway, we'll let you go. Enjoy the rest of your evening. You have a good one, and we'll move on with the next interview. But thank you for your time.
Bye-bye.
So, Icewind in next. So, brilliant drive from you there, Icewind. P4 in the end. So, some solid points for Ferrari. What would you say to the accusation that I made on stream today that you are running support now for Mackinder's title bid and hoping to get a Constructors with Ferrari?
I think that's fair enough to say. I certainly haven't really done a very good job getting points for the team in the previous races, but today I am absolutely satisfied with what I was able to do today. Like my quali was my PB by quite a big margin actually, so that was very, very good, even though it was like only P6 or whatever. But 23.4 is way better than I managed to do at any point. So. Yeah, very happy with that. And then in the race, I was kind of scared that I'm pretty sure I was running like more wing than anybody else in the race, and I was kind of worried that it's gonna fire back at me on the straights, but it was okay. Justin ahead of me. Justin overtook me at some point in the first stint after I made a mistake, and then I just sort of followed him, and we caught up to the leaders and dropped everybody behind us. So. Yeah, I can only be happy with this result. So absolutely maximum what I could do today. So I did try to attack Justin to sort of try and create chance for Mackinder to win the race against Danny, but I just didn't have the battery or the pace to do that. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
it seems like ERS management was a big factor in deciding that little battle, four-way battle at the end there. At any point in that four-way battle, did you think to yourself, well, I hope Justin takes out maybe one of the guys ahead, and then I can get a cheeky win maybe? Was that on the cards, or was it just a case of just follow and hope for the best?
I was just focusing maximum to try and keep it on track because I was so scared that I'm gonna spin it out of that. And I actually almost spun on the final lap. I don't know if you caught it on the stream, but yeah, maybe somewhere in the back of my mind, but generally I would say that I was just focusing on following and keeping that P4 because that's definitely my maximum today. But very happy, very happy.
I mean, it was a very solid drive in the end, and lots of action and things happening. But we're going to move on swiftly because we have you were a shout for drive of the day. 2 people in chat wanted you to get drive of the day, and I would certainly maybe agree with that if there was a couple more overtakes. But Danny Coe is going to get it this week. He's been begging for it for weeks on end, kind of thing, and he's come from P4 by the looks of things. I think it was, and done very well to get the race win. But we'll let you go, Icewind. Thank you for your time. In
Thank you,
Slime.
guys.
Have a good one. It was a very good race. Take care. So, Danny Coe, final interviewee and driver of the day, long awaited. A great win and one that kind of puts your championship charge on track now. It probably makes you jump Makenda, puts you in the P1 spot. You must be feeling good now for your first championship.
Yes. Today was a weird one. Car didn't feel optimum. Let's say that.
So what was it you were struggling with the car then?
Stability, in a way.
This is like a conversation between the driver and an engineer.
It was a bit of stability everywhere, to be honest. I changed something from 2S without really practicing, and it seems to have not worked in a way.
I mean, P1 says it worked in another way, so you can't really sniff at the result, can you?
True, it did help with the traction by the looks of things out of the chicane, but that's about the only place it did. Did rotate a bit better as well, so maybe that was key.
Not bad, but that is an 8-point swing in the championship there, I believe, from 25 points. So that puts you 1 point ahead of Makenda going into Canada. How are your thoughts on Canada? What do you feel like about Canada? Because personally, I hate that track with a passion.
I haven't
Love it.
It's a very good track. I've enjoyed it in past games, but I haven't tried it this game yet, I believe. So hopefully it will be a strong track like last games. So we pray.
Yeah, fingers crossed. And what have you given any thought to how you're going to win this showdown with Makenda? Because it seems like it's quickly becoming you and Makenda are the top 2 drivers. Justin the Daisy Wow, Copy Icewind are all sniffing around, but Yari seems...
Justin's missing 2 weeks, isn't he?
Justin's missing 2 weeks, yeah, so he's pretty much out of it. So it's pretty much just between you and Makenda, really. I'm not sure a Daisy has the consistency to get back in and challenge.
I'd say from what a Daisy showed at the start of the season, I reckon he could still get it.
He can still get it, you think? So he's still in there, in your eyes.
100%.
So what kind of mind games have you got prepared for Makenda, though? Like, have you got anything prepared? Are you going to boot him out, abuse your admin role and boot him out before the last race, or...?
No, just keep doing what I'm doing, theoretically.
Driving faster than him.
I wouldn't say that, but yeah. That would be the very easy way of saying what I need to do, yes. Drive faster than him.
I mean, where's the lie?
Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, fantastic result in the end. Where did you qualify? Can't remember now. Was it P4 or P3?
P4, and I'm not sure if you saw, but on the outlap in the new turn 5, Yari was ahead of me. He was on like the outs, like literally the white line around that corner. So I've gone to go take the inside. Both of us on outlaps, and he came turned like cut back, and he gave me wing damage, so I couldn't do a last lap.
Oh, very unfortunate. I would get 100% get that reported and get that seen to by the FIA for sure. But I don't think Yari's really in the runnings for the championship anymore. He had an absolute torrid time today.
He looked like he was running the TT setup, which was wanting to kill him in the first few laps.
That's something that's appeared a lot in this season's game, like the cold tyre situation. It's very difficult to control the car on those cold tyres, which I imagine is just a bit more in line with realism, essentially, really, isn't it? So, because...
Yeah, but by the looks of things, it looked like he was overheating more than anything. It's a bit weird.
It's a moot point now. Now he's retired, and but yeah, 6 seconds worth of penalties early on as well, and some issues having to pit early under that safety car. I don't think he was ever really in the run-ins for the win after that pit stop. But yeah, in terms of the championship charge, it's swung back in your favour. But Mikenda is proven to be just as quick as you, really, but it does seem as though you've got that very marginal edge over him. Where do you think that edge is coming from that you've got over him at the moment?
I won't lie, I literally did an hour of practice before 2S on Tuesday. The 2S race itself. Tried to do Tier 2 last night, but my internet was saying no. And then I did a warm-up lap today and the race. So
still a lot more practice than I did this week, I have to say.
True, but I feel I could get quicker.
Fair enough.
This week, so
fair enough. Yeah. So
to do what I did for Silverstone, for Canada, and so on and so on and so on.
Yeah, fingers crossed for you. Fingers crossed for you, and fingers crossed for the championship. But we're gonna let you go. I've got food to eat somewhere, I'm sure, and
same.
Yeah, we'll let you crack on and get on with things. But drive of the day, finally, you've got to be pleased with that, and I'll get that written up as soon as possible as well. Get your glory in writing. Unless I change my mind in the meantime to give it to Icewind.
No. Wait. He's already had one this season, so no.
Yep, you will get it. Don't worry.
Ooh.
It's 100% yours. Anyway,
is that how it works at the Oscars? You're like, you won last year, so you're not guessing it.
Does for me. Does for me.
You finally got it. Your life's complete. Championship no longer matters. All that matters is the driver of the day. But yeah, we'll let you crack on, get on with the rest of your evening, and we'll do the same. But thank you very much for your time, Danny.
Bye-bye.
So there we have it. Another SLR race done and dusted, and we can all move on with our lives and get some Canada practice in. God knows I need that. I've always been terrible at Canada, and that's probably one of the reasons I hate it so much. But yeah, looking forward to smashing into the wall of champions at full speed. How about you?
I don't know. We'll find out.
Okay then. So we'll love you and leave you. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you everybody for watching, and take care.
Bye bye.